Good evening, folks. Welcome to our February Roundtable. If you're just joining us, as we typically do, we'll ask you to turn off your camera and microphone for the opening comments, and then you'll be able to turn those on in the breakout rooms. Good evening, folks. Welcome to the February Roundtable. We're going to get started in just a moment. If you could go ahead and mute your line and turn off your camera. So just for our opening session, you can turn those back on when we get to the breakouts. Okay, one more time before we get started, if you could, turn off your camera and turn off your microphone for our opening session. We would appreciate that. And you'll be able to turn those back on in the district breakouts. With that, welcome to our February Roundtable formally. I'm Nathan Hopper, I'm the Director of Field Service. On screen with me tonight is Sarah Biltz, playing the part of Birdie Miner, who couldn't be with us tonight. So we're going to go through our opening comments and then get you off to your breakouts here in just a few moments. So we'll start off with an update on Scouting Ahead. As you know, Scouting Ahead is our guidelines for unit meetings and safe operations during this time, as well as guidance on other aspects and elements of scouting. And those guidelines can be found at buckeyecouncil.org/scouting ahead and are updated dynamically. As you saw on the previous screen, we haven't had any significant updates to the actual meeting guidelines at this time. Counties that are not purple can operate in the standard guidelines, the same as we rolled out in the early part of July, when we were able to start reopening unit meetings. And if you go purple, that's when unit meetings have to be suspended. So we have put some new updates on some other items in the Scouting Ahead guidebook. So we encourage you to check out that link and read more about those. Some of those updates include additional programming to support units and families. Hopefully you took part in our Baden-Powell Institute that started this last Saturday and continues for the next 60 days. And you're certainly aware of our Home Scouting Adventure Club, which goes on each month for free for Buckeye Council families, providing content for scouts to work with their families and bring scouting to life at home. Whether they're meeting in person or not, they can continue to work on additional things through the Home Scouting Adventure Club. Also, information that we previously announced about free tent camping throughout 2021 at Buckeye Council properties. That information is now in the Scouting Ahead guidebook for your review and use as you plan your scouting months ahead. We've talked with you about these things before. Our digitally delivered programming for youth continues. Cyber Sled Race, which debuted in December, is still open. kind of a virtual Klondike Derby featuring local Eagle Scout Matt Failer, who's an Iditarod sled dog racer, and just a ton of information and activities for kids on the race course to complete if they would like to do that, in addition to things that they have going on at the unit level. So we just continue to encourage you to take part in these programs. Over 1,500 people have been a part of the Cyber Sled Race. We've got more than 2,500 that participate in the Home Scout and Adventure Club every month. Again, that's free. The Home Scout Adventure Club is free for Buckeye Council families. So check that out and make that a part of your offerings to your kids. Baden-Powell Institute, I mentioned, we just had on Saturday was the beginning of that. It debuted on Saturday with more than 900 people from all over the place. As usual for our digitally delivered programs, we get a lot of attention and interest in those from other parts of the country. It's not too late to be a part of that. All the content is on demand. We had some live engagements, discussions, and guest speakers on Saturday. Those have all been recorded, and they can be found at leadscouting.org, as well as more than 30 other courses that you can take on your time, as convenient as it is maybe for you. So we encourage you to check that out. Great program, lots of content, supplemental training for you and your other leaders who may not be on Roundtable with us tonight. Talked about this briefly before. Tent camping is free all year at Buckeye Council properties. Registration is open for that. I know lots and lots of units have been taking advantage of it, or they've registered for some weekends up ahead when the weather turns a little bit warmer. We'd encourage you to take advantage of that as well. If you're looking for some of the other amenities, those do have some costs. But if you're just coming out for tent camping, that's completely free for our Buckeye Council units. 2021 summer camp is coming up. We can't wait for that to be here. The early bird deadline is coming very soon on Monday. And hopefully you've seen this information and captured it. I know lots of people have signed up already. And that early bird this is for Scout Summer Camp, for Scouts BSA. If you pay $200 by Monday, February the 15th, you save $50 on camp. The adult early bird is $145. So it's a great savings if you're able to do that by 2/15. Currently, there is a couple glitches in the system. We've communicated that out to our scout leaders, our Scouts BSA leaders, that you essentially have to do it in two waves. If you're going on to do the $200 payment, then you need to do a deposit and you can make a subsequent payment. We do believe that glitch was fixed today by the company who kind of does the back end part of our website, but only for youth. There's still a glitch when you're paying for adults. So we'll work with you on that process. Essentially, you've got to make the deposit first, and then you can come back and pay the balance for those adults for however many nights they're going to be a part of that to get the early bird locked in. Coming up soon in March, hopefully you've seen some information on this, is our Eagle Celebration. This is our next digitally delivered event that we're planning. Typically, we honor all of our Eagles at an in-person event in late January, Eagles from the previous year. And this year, we're going to be doing that in a digitally delivered format. If you are, well, for all of you, we invite you on March 15th to join us at celebratescouting.org for the debut of that event and to explore the class of Eagles and information that we're building on celebratescouting.org to highlight each and every individual Eagle Scout. We'll have a main program that highlights all of the Eagles collectively, as well as the Eagle Project of the Year and a few other items. We'll have a guest speaker. That's not a live event. It'll be there on demand. And we're also creating individual Eagle Scout videos to recognize each one of them that will live on that site, as well as a way that we can tell our scouting story to a broader audience and be able to do more individual recognition of these Eagles as a part of this event. Some of the new things we're doing, because we're not putting on an event for those Eagles to come to, we'll be sending them a more robust recognition gift that you can see on the screen there, a commemorative booklet, the Eagle Scout strip, shoulder strip that's special for them, as well as an Eagle Scout pen that they can wear, and a Eagle branded Swiss Army pocket knife. So we're mailing that out to all of our Eagles. We'll have a digitally delivered recognition program, as I mentioned before, and those individual Eagle Scout videos. You can see an example of those Eagle videos if you visit celebratescouting.org/Eagle-celebration. That's already up there. And really, we're sharing this with you because we want you to know about this event and be a part of it. But also, if you have Eagles that you know from last year, Eagles in your troop, share this with them because we are asking them to help us by submitting information that we can put into those videos to be able to recognize them individually. So I kind of covered this already. We are doing those individual videos, and you may be asked by one of them, or you may just decide to in advance record a congratulatory note for one of our 2020 Eagles, or share some about their journey and send that in. You can submit that at celebratescouting.org as well, so that we can include that into these special recognition videos. If you're interested as well, there are several sponsorship levels for the Eagle celebration. So you can see those on the screen. You can find that at celebratescouting.org. You can receive your own council strip in recognition of the event, or a set of all three, just depending on the level. And we're really excited about this Eagle gift sponsor level. That's helping us to pay for those gift packages that we sent. So if you have interest, check that out. We'd love to have you consider sponsorship of the Eagle celebration. Celebrate Scouting, as you know, beyond celebratescouting.org and the Eagle recognition, we're also going to be telling many other compelling stories about what Scouting's doing today. We want to share those stories with the community to talk about the positive things that Scouting's doing in the lives of people. And we're going to have more of those going on to that site on a regular basis. We're in families and community members, our principals of our schools and pastors of our churches will all be invited to connect with these stories and join us in celebrating Scouting during this time. Additionally, Celebrate Scouting is, as you know, how we've kind of rebranded our Friends of Scouting campaign over the last couple of years. And beyond telling those stories, we also invite people to who feel compelled to support Scouting during the Celebrate Scouting time frame of the year. Typically, we've gone out to your units and done unit celebrations and had that time. We won't be doing that this year. And we also do that in the communities. And this site is a new way that we're going to continue to do that. So we invite folks to, at this time, to celebrate Eagles with the Eagle celebration, celebrate achievements from last year, or to celebrate camp. And you can explore more of those things on the site, as well as more stories that we'll be putting on there on a regular basis. If you're so inclined, we already covered this. I think it's a little bit repetitive, so we can go on to the next slide. But if you'd like to celebrate Scouting by making a gift, making an investment in character, many of you do that each year, and we very much appreciate that. Here's some recognition levels that we have as a part of that, that you can learn more about on the site. You see here on screen, those are recognition gifts that we'll give to folks who decide to renew their investment in character, or maybe make a new investment in character. Certainly, in all the things we do, supporting Scouting through our fundraising efforts is an important part of being able to sustain our operations. This is just another way that we're trying to connect with those folks who may have interest and have ability to support Scouting. And we'd appreciate you checking that out and sharing it with your families, sharing it with other people you know in the community who believe in Scouting, are passionate about it, and might like to make a financial gift to it. We can probably skip ahead there, Sarah. Okay, that's our brief program for you, just some updates on some of the things that are going on. I know we have a number of questions in the chat. So I'm going to hopefully be able to pull that up here and address some of those. Sarah, if you've seen any that you want to just sound out and
yeah, absolutely. Brady asked about carpooling to camp. I know we've answered this before, but I think it'd be good for the group to convey why people can't carpool at this point in time.
Right. So carpooling remains prohibited as a part of our guidelines. And the reason for that is that we need to ensure that that we are keeping a social distance, that we're wearing masks, and we're providing a clean space where we're officially doing scouting activities. And the moment that scouts pile into a van or pile into multiple cars to go out to a scouting activity, they're on that scouting activity. And it is very difficult in that small enclosed space to maintain a social distance. It's impossible. It's also not going to likely be cleaned with an industrial grade disinfectant in between every use, right? Because it's going to be likely a personal vehicle. And this is a guideline that we have from the state for the type of program that we have that we can't carpool. I know many folks say, well, our kids are riding the school bus. What's the difference? Well, it's a pretty significant difference. On the school bus, there are folks there, paid employees of the school district, that are charged with enforcing mask regulations and keeping kids spaced out, and they have more space to do that. Additionally, after every use, those buses are cleaned with industrial disinfectants, and that's just not going to be the case for the majority of the time with our typical carpooling. We know that presents a challenge. We wish that it was different, but that's the guideline that we have to abide by for this time. Will that change for camp? At this point, we don't see that it will likely change before camp. It could, it certainly may, but at this time, I would be planning like we're not going to be able to carpool as we bring kids to camp.
Thank you. Ryan asked, and this is probably a question more so for CJ, who I believe is on the line, but he paid early bird registration for camp and would like to spend the first half of week at Camp Akela with his Weeblo and the second half at main camp with his oldest son. Would he also have to register for Cub Scout camp, or is his registration at Scout Summer Camp good enough for both?
No, he does not have to register at Cub Scout camp. I answered both of those directly also, but anyone who pays for the week at Boy Scout camp, if they're they have a son or whatever the situation is where they need to go over to the Cub Scout side of camp for a time period, that would be covered. So we do that all the time.
Cool. And then Lee Peters asks, when will the Silver Beaver recognition be held?
That's a great question, Lee. We're targeting April for that, and it will likely be a similar experience to our Eagle celebration with a digitally delivered program celebrating all of those Silver Beavers, as well as individual recognition videos for each one. An additional component for that is that we are looking to build a group who would go out and actually present the Silver Beaver Award to those recipients at a place of their choosing. So we won't be bringing everybody together. We're still limited, as you know, on group size meetings. We won't have the whole dinner and that type of an experience, but we'll still have a recognition event, digitally delivered individual recognition videos, and then we'll have folks come out and present those awards to that individual at a place that of their choosing that makes sense to them. They might want to do that at their troop meeting. They might want to do that at their church, might want to do that in their living room with some close family and friends gathered. So that's the plan on that for right now. We'll have more details coming out on that just as soon as we can. Were there any other questions in the chat that we missed, Sarah?
CJ, since you are on the line, do you know off the top of your head what the early bird prices are for people that camp at Calumet?
I do not.
Okay. Mike, I'll look those up and give them to you in the district section.
The two questions just came across that are pretty much the same, which is, where can we camp? Have there been changes to the camping guidelines for units for overnight camping outside of council properties? There's no change on that at this time. We've covered that to a pretty great length in these meetings, but the restriction remains in place that overnight camping needs to happen at a Boy Scout camp property. It doesn't have to be the Buckeye Council camp property. It can be any Boy Scout camp property that is being actively managed. The reason for this, again, is to ensure that the safety guidelines that scouting has are being upheld at those facilities. We can have confidence that our council, as well as other scout councils, are doing the proper cleaning and enforcing social distancing and all of those things in the delivery of that camping experience or the operation of those camps. And we can't have that same assurance for organizations that are outside of scouting. This is a direct regulation handed to us by our insurance company, by our attorneys, and is also the same process or the same policy that every other scout council in the state of Ohio has. We're not just pulling that one out of thin air. We know it's limiting. We know it's challenging. It's not what we want to do, but that is the guideline that we have. It is a limitation that we've got to operate in during this time. And so we can get to a place where the infection rate and the spread of this thing have tapered off to a level where those restrictions are eased, but no change to that at this time. All right, any other questions for the full group or for our opening session here? Okay, with that, we're going to go into the breakouts. This is going to work a little bit differently than it has in the past. We're going to, I'm going to open up the breakout rooms, and you're going to need to select which rooms to go into. You won't automatically go to a room. You'll just, you'll be able to see the list of breakout rooms and choose the one for your district that you want to go into. And we're trying this out a little bit differently because we always seem to have a fair number of people with some difficulty getting into the pre-assigned breakout room. So we're going to try it this way this month. I'm going to go ahead and hit the button to open those up. So you should see something pop up that lists all the breakout rooms, and you just pick the one for your district that you'd like to attend. Or if you're thinking about visiting with another district, you're welcome to do that as well. Thanks for being a part of our roundtable tonight. I hope that you have a great district section, and we will talk to you soon.